There are somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone. The observable universe has about 2 trillion galaxies. That's roughly a trillion stars. And as far as we can prove, exactly one planet in all of that has anyone home. This isn't a maybe aliens are out there video. This is about a genuine, unsolved scientific problem, one of the biggest in astronomy. It's called the Fermi Paradox, and the short version is the universe is stupidly big, stupidly old, and stupidly good at making stars and planets. Statistically, it should be loud. Instead, it's dead silent. This question has kept astronomers, physicists, and biologists up at night for over 70 years, and nobody has a clean answer yet. This started as an actual lunch conversation. 1950, Los Alamos National Lab. A group of physicists were joking about a recent UFO story in the news. Then, physicist Enrico Fermi just blurts out, "Where is everybody?" Everyone laughed. Then everyone slowly stopped laughing because nobody had a good answer. Fermi wasn't being poetic. He did rough back of the envelope math right there, and the number said that even at slow sub-light speed travel, a spacefaring civilization could colonize the entire galaxy in a few million years. Which sounds like a lot until you remember the galaxy is 13 billion years old. A few million years is a rounding error. 11 years later, astronomer Frank Drake tried to turn the joke into an actual estimate. His equation multiplies things like how many stars form each year, how many have planets, how many of those planets could support life, how often life actually shows up, how often it gets smart, and how long a smart civilization survives before it either grows up or blows up. Even if you plug in genuinely pessimistic numbers, even if intelligent life is rare, even if most of it dies out fast, the math still tends to spit out hundreds or thousands of civilizations that should currently exist in the Milky Way alone. Not billions. Not one. Hundreds to thousands. So here's the paradox plainly. The odds say the galaxy should have company. The evidence says it doesn't. No signals, no probes, no Dyson spheres blocking starlight, no messages, nothing. Not from our own galaxy, and not from any of the other 2 trillion galaxies we can see either. Something between the math and the silence doesn't add up. And there is no single agreed upon answer, just a long list of competing suspects. Suspect number 1, the rare Earth hypothesis. The idea here is that simple microbial life might be common in the universe, but complex life, plants, animals, anything with a nervous system, needs an absurdly specific combination of luck. Earth has a moon just the right size to stabilize its tilt, a big brother planet, Jupiter, that vacuums up a lot of the asteroids that would otherwise turn us into a crater, plate tectonics that recycle nutrients, a sun that isn't a temperamental radiation flare machine, and a spot in the galaxy safe from lethal gamma ray bursts. Miss 2 or 3 of those, and you probably just get rocks and weather. Suspect number 2, and this one's the unsettling favorite, the Great Filter. The theory says that somewhere between lifeless rock and galaxy colonizing civilization, there's at least one step that's almost impossible to survive. Think of it like a video game with an unknown number of levels. You don't find out where the impossible level is until everyone before you has already lost. Life might hit that wall over and over and over again, everywhere in the universe. If the filters behind us say the jump from simple cells to complex ones, which took Earth 2 billion years, then great news, we already got lucky and cleared it. But if the filter's still ahead of us, that's the horror movie version of this theory. It means every civilization gets exactly to our stage, our level of technology, and then something, nuclear war, climate collapse, an engineered virus, an unaligned AI, wipes them out before they ever leave the launch pad. This one's grim but simple. Maybe every species smart enough to build a radio telescope is also, by definition, smart enough to build something that ends them first. Nuclear weapons showed up within decades of radio. So did the tools for engineered pandemics. Maybe civilizations just aren't built to survive their own smartness for very long. Cosmically speaking, we're talking a blink. Here's a more optimistic suspect. Maybe nobody's late, we're just early. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, but the peak era of star formation was billions of years ago, and heavy elements needed to build rocky planets and DNA had to slowly accumulate from generations of dying stars. Some models suggest Earth-like planets are still being made today and will keep forming for tens of billions of years into the future. Statistically, we might be one of the very first civilizations to show up, not one of the last. Suspect 4 is just brutal geometry. Our nearest potentially habitable star system is over 4 light-years away. The galaxy is 100,000 light-years across. Radio signals travel at light speed and get weaker with distance. Humanity's own radio leakage has only traveled about 100 light-years out, which covers essentially nothing. Even if a civilization is broadcasting right now, we might need to wait tens of thousands of years just to hear the first syllable. Also, and this doesn't get said enough, SETI, the actual search for alien signals, has scanned a genuinely tiny sliver of the sky, on a tiny sliver of possible frequencies, for a total of about 65 years. Someone compared it to scooping one glass of water from the ocean, finding no fish, and concluding the ocean is empty. The zoo hypothesis says advanced civilizations know we exist and are deliberately staying quiet, like a wildlife documentary crew that doesn't walk into frame. Maybe there's a rule against contacting species before they're spacefaring, kind of like a parent letting a toddler figure out how to walk before stepping in. It's a fun idea. It's also completely untestable, which is exactly why scientists treat it with a raised eyebrow instead of a research grant. The dark forest hypothesis flips the zoo idea into something colder. Maybe everyone's hiding on purpose, because broadcasting your location to the universe is a terrible idea if you don't know what's out there. In this theory, every civilization that shouted "we're here" either got a terrifying answer or no longer exists to regret it. Silence isn't emptiness. Silence is survival strategy. There's also the simulation hypothesis. Maybe we're inside a computed reality, and the universe wasn't rendered with aliens because nobody bothered simulating extras. It's a genuinely fun thought experiment. It is also completely unfalsifiable, which in science is basically a polite way of saying, "We can't test this. Please stop bringing it to conferences." One more serious contender. Maybe nobody has built self-replicating probes yet, machines that could visit a star system, build copies of themselves from local material, and spread exponentially. If any civilization ever built those, calculations suggest they could blanket the entire galaxy in well under 10 million years. Once even one civilization starts that chain, the whole galaxy gets tagged pretty fast. The fact that nobody's probes have shown up is actually decent evidence that nobody anywhere has done this yet, including notably us. Fermi himself died in 1954. 4 years after that lunch, without ever writing his question down formally, we only know about it from a colleague's memoir. He asked one of the biggest questions in science as a joke over lunch, and then never got to see 70-plus years of people failing to definitively answer it. So, quick recap. Maybe complex life is just insanely rare. Maybe there's a filter killing civilizations before or after us. Maybe we're simply early. Maybe everyone's out there, just too far away or too quiet to hear. Maybe they're watching politely, or hiding on purpose, or we're literally the first ones to show up to build anything at all. If you actually survey astrobiologists, and people have, the most popular answer isn't aliens hiding or an AI apocalypse. It's some version of, simple life might turn out to be common, but the jump to complex, intelligent, technological life is the genuinely hard part, and Earth might just be an outlier that beat brutal odds. So where is everybody? Nobody actually knows, and that's not scientists shrugging. That's the honest, current edge of human knowledge. The Fermi Paradox isn't a solved mystery. It's an active one, with new evidence, new exoplanets, new filters we didn't know existed, arriving basically every year. And honestly, that's part of what makes it exciting. This is one of the few genuinely huge questions you could actually still be alive to see answered. The universe hasn't answered yet. It might be because there's no one else to answer, or it might just be that we're the ones who called first. Until someone actually calls back, we're just one moderately curious species on one unremarkable rock, yelling into the void and hoping it's a bad connection and not an empty line.